When drawing a person facing towards you, the shape of the nose is based on a sphere. This is especially obvious in children. The ball of the nose is a complete sphere with the nostrils forming two hemispheres on either side of it. A side view reveals that the profile of the nose rises from the eye sockets and curves down at the tip towards the mouth. Because the nose is the part of the face that rises and comes forward more than any other feature, it casts several distinct shadows. Let's take a look at the parts of the nose. The top of the nose between the eyebrows is called the root. This part of the face usually has a subtle shadow, as we can see here. The bridge of the nose, officially called the dorsum nasi, forms a long column which usually is narrowest at the top and widens slightly at the base. Don't fall prey to the misconception that you must outline or put dark shadows on both the left and right side of the bridge. In most lighting, with only one light source, one side of the bridge will be lighter and have fewer shadows than the other. Here, the light source is on the right, casting a darker shadow on the left side of the bridge and forming a strong vertical highlight down the bridge of the nose. The tip or ball of the nose is officially called the apex, and this is where we see the spherical shape of the nose. Notice how the shadows here curve around the tip. On either side of the ball of the nose are the two semicircular wings, which are called the ala. Like the ball of the nose, these wings have shadows curving around from the top to the sides and underneath the bottom as well. The highlight in the center of the wings helps to show their roundness. Underneath the wings of the nose are the holes we call the nostrils. Despite what your brain might tell you, the nostrils are not circles. Unless the face is tilted way back at an extreme angle, the nostrils will be shaped either like an ellipse or simply be shadows similar in shape to sunflower seeds. All right, let's take a look at how to draw and shade the nose. I'm going to start with the darkest part of the nose, which is the nostrils. I have a faint outline here that I've already traced, so I'm just going to fill in these areas here. Notice on the nose that we're looking at, the light source is on the right side of the nose, so we have darker shadows on the left. The right nostril is clearly defined. It's like a sunflower seed on its side. We have a nice dark shadow under the tip of the nose, curves up. And we have the right or left nostril. I'm going to create a shadow here on the side of the wing or the ala of the nose. And it's going to fade down this way. I'm not pressing as hard as I did for the nostrils. I'm using my 5B, by the way, my 5B pencil. Here I'm just brushing it over, fading it down, and laying it out a little bit. I'm going to go to the other ala or wing of the nostril and shade from that down into that nasolabial crease. That shadow there. And I'm going to just barely shade in up here by the root of the nose where it casts this great shadow into the eyebrow. Barely going over that. Now I'm going to start blending in. Oh, wait, before I do that, don't forget to create your pool over here to dirty your blending stuff. Obviously, you do this on a separate sheet of paper. That's okay. I'm going to go over the line here for the wing, and now I'm going to pull in because there's a shadow on either side. Shade in this area underneath the nostrils and fade it down. Now, while my blending stump is dirty, I'm going to use that to create my skin tone around my shadows. You don't want the face to be the same shade as the paper. This gives me a nice skin tone. Now if you're doing a large face, you can do this with a folded paper towel I'm going to start shading in and defining the ball of the nose by literally circling the tip of the nose and coming in towards the center. Now you don't see a shadow here, so I need to break that shadow open while I'm shading the bridge of the nose, which I'll get to in a minute. But for now, I'm just going to leave it there. Just blocking in these areas of light and shadow. Switching to the cleaner side of my blending stump because that other side is getting a little ratty. Again, I'm going around the edge of the wing, pulling in towards the center a little, curving around because it curves in. See how it curves in? Like that. Both sides, curves in. And that shadow shows how round those wings are. I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom of the nose. I'm pulling that shadow from the nostril up onto the tip of the nose itself. Fading that in, fading this down just a little bit. Just like with the mouth, I do most of my drawing with the dirty blending stump. Have a nice dark shadow here. Fade this out. So we're already starting to really define that nose. Now I'm going to switch to my 2B to start putting in some of those shadows that I started to lose. Here, up in here, darken it back in. Because we want to see that contrast. Contrast is beautiful. Don't be afraid to go dark. But really look at the relationships of your shadows. Is this shadow lighter or darker than the other one? The shadow on the right here is definitely lighter than the shadow on the left. Now again, I said I needed to break open that bridge, so I'm going to take my stick eraser and I'm going to put my highlight in. Now that I've created a skin tone, I can erase out the highlight. And if the highlight's not showing up enough, that tells me my value is not dark enough next to it. So darken in on either side of that highlight just a little bit more. Darken in on either side of that highlight on the ball of the nose. Nice highlight there. Always looking and comparing the shadows. Constantly making comparisons. I'll switch to my pencil. And I'm darkening in this shadow here. There's a nice dark shadow. This shadow needs to get darker again. I'm going to reshape my nasolabial crease just a bit. There we go. We're starting to have a nose. All right, there you have it. So we have the ball of the nose, the ala, which are the wings of the nose, the nostrils underneath, the bridge with a nice highlight, darker shadow on the left-hand side as it goes up into the socket here by the root of the nose.